What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's the third week I am here at the World Series of Poker in Las Vegas. And last week, we managed to get on the scoreboard, cashing in 3 WSOP events, but still not even close to a bracelet or a huge score, or even profit for that matter. So I get back on the horse and try my luck in the $1,000 mini main event. I don't think I've run particularly good in terms of distribution since I've been here, but this one was just hours of folding. I got in with 50 bigs, and I literally just folded down until I had about 17 big blinds. I don't think I played a single hand of interest. Anyway, I jam it in blind versus blind with King 8 suited for about 17 big blinds, and run into pocket kings of all hands. Nice one. But this is Las Vegas during the World Series, boys, and so the day it wasn't over. So I head down to the Venetian to check out their new poker room and play the $1,100 pot limit Omaha tournament. Just bust a PLO, just so fucking tilting. Just against the whale, I watched him 4-way after raising pre, bet pot on 6-4 deuce with ace king jack 6, 4-way. So he's just clicking fucking buttons. Yet against me on king 9 deuce, he's got fucking the same hand as me but with the nut flush draw. And can you imagine me actually just fading fucking like 8 hearts? Of course not. So dumb, because it's just a cooler against a whale, because he'll just bet like king queen nothing. So, and then obviously he just bets pot, because I think people in PLO think that it's pot limit Omaha means that you have to bet pot. Like, people don't bet anything other than pot. And yeah, obviously he just gets there on the turn and then the river as well, so why the fuck not? It's a really annoying time to bust as well, because it's like 6 o'clock now, and so you can't really reg anything now. So, but I'm not ready to, like, I want to grind, I want to play everything and build stacks, and it's like, well, now what do I do? Gonna take the day off tomorrow. There is a GTO Wizard party, which I don't really want to go to, but Jess does, so she's gonna drag me there. So I'm gonna take the day off, I think, and just chill, maybe do some stuff for content. Alright, time to call it a day poker-wise. Met up with the missus for a drink, had a relatively early night, and the following day had my first scheduled day off for the GTO Wizard party. Actually had a really good time here. Met up with some of the ACR lot and got to meet the founders of GTO Wizard and some of the OGs. Some of you will know I've been an affiliate with GTO Wizard for years now. So it's nice to put faces to the names of people I've known as only like screen names for the past 4 years. Lots of cool stuff coming from those guys as well at GTO Wizard, so keep your eyes peeled. Alright guys, hello again. Week 3. Not the best start to week 3. Today we have the 1700 Moneymaker main event here at the MGM. I am staying here at the Signature, so it's basically right downstairs for me, which is nice. So $1,700 buy-in. I actually ran deep in this one last year, if I remember. I cashed, I made day 2. I think it was just a min cash or glorified min cash. Lost a huge flip, I think. I can't remember. Check out last year's vlogs if you want to see it. So yeah, $1,700 buy-in. Gonna have, I think, 80 big blinds when I get in. I think it's a 40k starting stack. Yeah, see what we can do. The Moneymaker series, actually a really good tournament series in my opinion, and although I don't love like the chips and the general vibe at the poker room at MGM Grand, something I will praise is the dealers. From my experience, they just are genuinely fantastic here. Anyways, 40k starting stack, getting in at 600 big blinds, and in the first few levels, I play some really interesting hands. Alright guys, came outside, it's a little quieter. First break, almost the absolute dream start. So I played a big pot early on. Under the gun +2 opens to 1200, button calls. I've got deuces in the small blind, so I come along and the big blind calls. Flop comes 10-10 deuce, so I flop a boat, absolute gin. The original raise is C-bets 2k. I decided just to call. I think a lot of people just over C-bet in terms of frequency. If he'd have been, you know, if I'd known he's a reg or whatever, I might just raise because he's just likely to be strong. But I think people bet all kinds of nonsense. I call, turn comes king of diamonds. It's only me that calls, so we go heads up. I check, he bets 5k. I decided to just raise now. I don't want him to have a 10 or like aces and just check back on like a heart or something like that. So I check raise to 13k and he calls. River comes a 5 of hearts, bringing in the front door flush. And I am obviously just jamming basically every river that isn't a king or a 10. So I jam for 24k, and he thinks for not very long and calls with Jack 10 with the Jack of hearts, which on the surface it looks like an okay-ish bluff catcher, but like, what am I bluffing there? We go 4-way to a flop, I check call, check raise, and then jam river. So yeah, so very nice first hand. Next one is next level. Hijack opens 2k, I peel king queen off on the button. Flop comes king 8-6 with 2 spades. I don't have a spade. Villain c-bets, I call. The turn comes, I think it's the 4 of clubs, which brings in 2 flush draws, so double flush draw. Villain checks. I decide to bet really big here. I go close to pot. I think it's like 11-5 in the middle. I bet 10k. The reason he's still got a lot of king 10, king jack and stuff from the hijack, but we're not going to be able to get value on a lot of rivers with it being double flush draw. I'm not going to bet on a lot of rivers, so I think getting the money in now and getting a good chunk of value is worth it. So I go for 10k, he calls relatively quickly. And the river bricks out, one of the biggest bricks really, 3 of hearts. So villain checks, and I think I kind of have to bet. I don't really see how many better hands he's going to have, realistically. I don't really see how many better hands he's going to have, realistically. It'd have to be a traps like set, or like ace king and kings, aces, something like that. But I think that most people on double flush draw bet or check raise those hands. I don't think that they just check call. So he checks. I decide to go. I don't want to go too big. I don't want to value own myself, because I think if I start going over bet, he's just going to fold everything worse. So I go 25k into like what, 31 or something, and he calls with aces, which I wasn't really expecting. At first I was like, what a stain. Then I was like, actually it's fine. Now I'm kind of on the fence. I think he should just bet. It just gives me a chance to check back king 10 and king jack on a bunch of rivers. So bit of a cooler, but a bit above starting stack. Let's go back, see if we can spin it. All right, GG. I tripled it off like a grown-up. So I opened 10-8 of spades, early position. I start the hand with just shy of 70k, I think, which is just under 20, no, just over. I think it's like 23 big blinds. I open early position, big blind defends. Flop comes a7-5 with 2 spades. I c-bet, a little on the larger side, I think, not a third. I'm not always range betting. Villain calls, turn comes a queen. He checks. I decide it's a good one to barrel again. And then I think I might give up river, just because I think he's going to have a bunch of ace-x. I think his range is basically just going to be condensed to ace-x and maybe like queen x of spades, and we block that part of his range. So he checks. I decide it's good to bet again, because I can fold out a bunch of 7x and 5x for the most part. He calls, and then the river comes a jack of clubs, and I decide to send it for like 38k, I think it was, 40k. I think just at this point I'm super low down in range. I have a ton for value, and he's unlikely to have ace jack or better here. Ace queen I think I'll consider 3-betting pre, kind of just flatted. The only issue with this is I'm basically trying to get an ace to fold, which is not what you want to do in general. Anyway, he makes this sort of face, which is like, you know, I guess I have to call. And he calls with ace-8, which is fine, but it's kind of the face he made. It was like, you know, oh, I got an ace. He's got top pair, man. I actually put this as an Instagram story I'm going to show you, where I put it from the perspective of the big blind and pretended I was the big blind to see what people would do, because I thought ace-8 should just fold here, because you've got better hands. I've got so much value. My king 10 gets there, like my jack 10 might not bluff, my queen x won't bluff, so figured I've just got a shitload for value, and maybe he folds an ace, but he doesn't. 77% of people agreed, they said fold. But yeah, it didn't get through, so. Yeah, GG's for the moneymaker. I don't even know what's tomorrow. I think it's like the 2500 freeze out mini I can't remember. I don't know, pretty tired, it's late now, so gonna go to bed. And yeah, GG's, catch you tomorrow. Not to be in the moneymaker this year, and so the next day I decided to go downtown and play the 8-game championship at the Golden Nugget. This is down at Fremont Street in Las Vegas. If you guys have never been there, it's a completely different vibe from what you get on the Strip. It's kind of what I imagined Vegas to be before I ever went. I don't know, I quite like it anyway. It's also a lot cheaper on the Strip, some good value restaurants, and you can bet smaller in the pit games like blackjack and stuff. Anyway, the poker side of it went shite, obviously. I had 2 bullets in this 1K8 game. before busting around 12 off the money after midnight. So back home I went to rest up for the $2,500 WSOP freeze out tomorrow. So back on the hunt for a World Series of Poker bracelet, this time in the 2.5k freeze out. 35k starting stack, I get in with about 70 big blinds, and wouldn't you know it, in the first orbit I play a rather large pot. So blinds are 300, 500. I look down at King, Queen of Hearts under the gun and make it 1200. Only the button calls. So we go heads up to a Queen, Jack 9 rainbow. This board's going to hit the button calling range quite a bit here. So I'm going to check. I might actually just check my entire range here. So I go for the check and button checks back. Important to know that this guy I had tagged as a whale as well. So the WSOP app actually links with the GG account. So my GG account, all the people I've got tagged from playing on GG actually come up on the WSOP app, which is pretty cool. And I had this guy tagged as a whale. So anyway, turn comes the 5 of hearts. So gives us a flush draw to go along with our top part. I size up a bit now after check on flop, so I go for a bet of 3,000 and the button calls. River comes the 3 of hearts, giving us a second nut flush. I bet 8.5k into about 9,200, and the button takes about 2.5 minutes before raising to 24k. I basically just snap call it here. I don't think there's that much of a decision. And of course, Villain shows us the bad news. He's got ace-8 of hearts for the nut flush. And just like that, we're sure. I decided I wasn't going to fold versus this size. I was thinking if it had gone all in, I still think I'm just always going to call. But I would have given it some thought. When he doesn't put me in for my tournament life, even though he covered me, I decided that I'm just never going to fold. He can have worse for value, but looking back on it, it's not really that many hands. I think it was the 9 that's a heart, so he can only realistically have Jack 10 of hearts or Jack 8 of hearts, maybe Jack 7 of hearts, which I think would probably play this way. Depends on if he's going to raise the river. Bluff wise, it depends on if he's going to take this line as bluffs. So there's a lot of people that won't bluff in this spot, and it's only really ace Jack, ace 10, and maybe ace queen with the ace of hearts. The issue here is that a fun player might just call with ace Jack or ace queen with the ace of hearts, and they might just bet ace queen and ace 10 on the flop anyway. But yeah, Grim 1 is still obviously a cooler. The good news is that I find pocket queens not long after and get it in good shape against ace queen.
No, I'm okay, thank you.
So you want to keep it or no?
No.
No.
Thank you.
And hold to have a more playable stack.
Alright, miraculous.
Hello, boys.
All right, boys. Just bust the 2.5k freeze out bracelet event. So yeah, bust it. Really demoralized from today as well, just because super soft table. I felt so fucking dialed in every time I played. I'm just like, even when I'm not even paying full attention, like with other people in pots and in hands, I just like, I can just figure out what they've got. Everyone's playing so face up, and I'm just, my reads are just dead on. The problem is, I don't have value ever, and when I do, they've got me fucking pipped like the king queen hand. So ridiculous. So just no hands, no spots. Had queens, doubled up with queens when I had 10 bigs, and then dribbled down to 8 bigs, and then queen jack into a7 for the rest. Just nothing I can do today or yesterday or the day before or the week before. It's starting to get on my tits now as well, to be honest. So anyway, I've got 2 days off now. Tomorrow is GG/WSOP party, which Jess has been invited to, and I have to go, which I'm super looking forward to. I'm just going to sabotage it, put ACR patches all over the place. And then the day after, me and Jess are going to go see Kelly Clarkson. So I might sneak in some cash games here and there, but it's going to be a couple of days off tournaments, and then the day after, I think I'm going to buy into day 2 of the main event. And for you guys that watched last year's vlog, the reason is I slept so badly last time before day 2 of the main, and day 1, I honestly don't think it's that good value playing day 1. All the wrecks don't want to bust, so they just play no hands, and then if you get put on a tough table, you're just fucked. So I figured if I buy into day 2, still 80 big blinds, which is plenty, I can then decide which day 2 to play. If I don't sleep that well on the 5th, then I won't play on the 6th. I can play on the next day. So that's going to be the plan, and then I've got a couple of days off. Hopefully, I'm going to be fucking ready to get it. So hopefully, it's going to be good updates. So a pretty awful week at the tables, all things considered. A total of 0 cashes this week so far. Didn't play that many tournaments overall though, so no complaints. And we closed the week out with the GG/WSOP Players Party on the Paris rooftop bar. Cool place and a free bar, so although it wasn't really my scene, your boy isn't going to turn down free drinks. And after taking the following day off to rest, the day after was the big boy, the $10,000 World Series of Poker main event. Alright boys, here we go. I've just arrived at Horseshoe here for WSOP main event, day 2A. So decided to reg day 2 instead of day 1. Spoke about it in an earlier thing. Last year, I slept really badly the day before. So I thought if I just reg day 2, I can pick which day 2 I register. That was my original plan. Then I thought, no, I want to play day 1 because it's really good value. And it just kind of didn't align. So I couldn't have played day 1A because of something else that was going on. I think I day 2 something. Day 1B, I can't remember if it was the same, but it just didn't align, and it got to like day 1C and I just wasn't in the mood for playing. And day 1D I knew I couldn't play because I had a party beforehand. So yeah, I've ended up registering for day 2. So 75 big blinds. It's level 6, I think, level 5. So still plenty of play, 2-hour levels. And yeah, let's see what we can do. So slept pretty well last night. I look kind of tired, but I slept pretty decently. And I feel ready, boys. I feel ready. So hopefully, there'll be good updates. Let's see how we go. One other thing I forgot to say is I feel very grateful today. I always do. It's a whole different ball game, this tournament. So 2 years ago, I played this tournament for the first time. Played it again last year, so this is my 3rd time. So hopefully 3rd time lucky. But every day, every time I play this, the day that I wake up, I always feel really, really grateful for just being able to play it. You know, look at this when I was 17 years old. This was literally my dream to play. Obviously, dream to win, but just to play, I never thought I'd actually be playing it. Like a $10,000 tournament. That seemed like millions back when I was younger. So the fact I get to play it is just, it's big enough in itself. So I never expect anything from live tournaments anyway. Possibly just because, I don't know, it's just the way I am. I don't really expect anything, so I don't think about it. What's going to happen. I just sit and play the game I'm good at. That's all I can do. But it would be a nice one to get a run in. So let's do it, boys. This is the one that everyone who has ever played poker has dreamt about winning. And I, of course, am no exception. So I was buying directly into day 2A this year. For those that didn't see last year, I slept really bad before day 2. So this time I was going to do everything I could to make sure I was well rested so I could be focused. Starting stack is 60,000 chips, and the blinds on day 2 are 400, 800, which is equivalent to 75 big blinds with 2-hour blind levels. Off to a good start as well with the table draw. A lot of American flags, which is always good news, and no huge names or absolutely monster stacks to battle against. The first 2 hours flew by and had our first break of the day. Might be a bit loud. First break, good start, up to 78k from 60k. The first hand I V-pipped, great table by the way, super soft, one absolute beluga, mythical whale. First hand I play, I open 8-9 suited under the gun because I hadn't played a hand and it's super soft passive table, so I decided to open under the gun. Low jack calls, comes queen jack jack. I decide to check. I'm going to check a lot on this board out of position. Goes check check. Turn comes to 3 of clubs. Check again. I'm not really folding out much on this turn, so I decide just to check fold now. Whereas flop I was going to check call. Check check. And river comes king of clubs. I bet like 2k into 6. Just trying to rep like a king. He folds. So bluffed the first hand I played in the main and got it through. Played a couple of Played another pot not long after. This guy who I think is a reg. I open pocket nines in, I think it's a cut-off, to 1800 at 800 big blind. Small blind 3-bets to 5600. I peel. I think he might 3-bet a bit wider because I'm going to raise more because the big blind is the whale. So I'm going to raise slightly wider so he gets a 3-bet wider. Flop comes King Jack 6 or something anyway. He c-bets, I just fold. The biggest pot I won though was with Ace Queen suited. I decided just to flat blind on blind. Got a really soft passive table apart from the kid on my right. He 4x's blind on blind. I decided to just flat Ace Queen suited. My thinking was that if he 4-bets me, I should probably just stick in like 80 bigs, but I didn't want to. But I think I can 3-bet and then flat the 4-bet because it plays so well in position. Anyway, flop comes King 10-9, check check, 1 spade, I check back. Turn comes 5 of diamonds, bringing in a diamond flush draw. He bets 4k, I call, and then the river comes an ace. He reaches for chips. I'm hoping he doesn't absolutely blast it because he has all the 2 pairs here. But he's going to bluff this a lot and have some worse value. Bets 8.5k, very easy call. Flick a chip in, snap him off. He says ace. Ace 6 of hearts, which is no good. So that was the biggest pot I won. And the other one, I had 10 jack of clubs. I opened from early position. The whale on the bottom calls, which is great news. Comes Jack 8-5, 1 club. Again, going to do a lot of checking. Also happy to keep the pot small. The whale will stab a bunch on this board anyway. I check, he bets, I peel. Turn, it gives us a flush draw. I think it was a 7 of clubs, whatever I've put up here. Check, check, which is fine. And the river comes a 9 of clubs, giving us a flush. Brings 4 to a straight as well. I don't think check raising's that good because he's not actually going to bet that much. And I've seen him check back strong hands on river when the board is scary. So he might check back a 6, which is the low end of a straight. So I just bet pot because he's going to call with a 6, he's going to call with a 10. And he might call some just random shit, put me on a bluff. So I bet exactly pot, I think 10k. He folds, but pick up a nice pot. So yeah, 78 big blinds. And we're about to sit back down. I'm going to miss one hand. So far, so good, but early days yet, so definitely wasn't going to start getting ahead of myself. Felt really good when I was playing actually, and always nice having a soft table as well. I was chipping up nicely, and it wasn't long before our next break. Moved outside because I was hoping it'd be a bit quieter. Second break. Next level, second level didn't go as well as the first, unfortunately. We are back down to nearly starting stack, have 64k. Folded for like an hour for like half the level. Then played an interesting one with pocket 10. So the low jack opens. It's this old dude who's a nit. He's limped a couple of hands. He's not really raised. So he opens low jack. I peel 2 black 10s on the button. Big blind comes along as well. She's new to the table. Just looks like a whale. Flop comes 10-8-4 with 2 clubs. So we flop top set. We have the 10 of clubs as well. Big blind leads for 2300. And the low jack calls. So even though we've got tops out, we've kind of got the board locked with a club as well. I still think raising, just thin the field, you know, just get some money in with tops out basically. So I don't want to go too big here. I make it 7k. The big blind calls and the low jack gets out of the way. Turn comes the king of clubs, which brings in the flush draw. Big blind checks, and I decide to check back. I wait for a minute as well to see if she rechecks her cards, to see if she's got a club or anything. Because recreationals generally are going to give away so much information. So I think about it for a bit. Decide check back is fine. We're not scared about that many rivers. As she checks, yeah, I check back. River comes to 7 of hearts, which brings in like a couple of draws. Brings in 5, 6 and jack 9, as well as obviously the flush completing on the turn. So she bets 4.5k into 24k. I think we have the best hand basically always, but I wouldn't be surprised in the main to see somebody bet a straight or maybe even a flush for this tiny size. So I think we have the best hand most of the time. The question is, are we getting caught by worse? She didn't recheck her cards at any point as well. So I figure it's not necessarily a tell of having a flush or not or whatever, but it's a tell of often having cards where it's obvious. For example, if you have like 10-8 with a diamond and a heart, you've got 2 red cards, you know you don't have a club. If you've got 2 clubs, you've obviously got a flush. So I figured that there wasn't going to be that many hands with a club in that could maybe back call the river. I think it's going to be a bit more sort of polar. So Anyway, I decided to just call, and she shows pocket jacks with the jack of clubs, which is super weird. So we take that one down, which was okay. Bit annoying that it's like such a shitty run out, because obviously she's got an overpair, and then it just comes an overcard that brings in the flush, and then something that brings in straight draws. Maybe I could have raised river anyway, who knows, she might have called. But yeah, that was one that I won, and then after that I basically lost most hands. So yeah, stand next to me and have a really loud conversation, you fucking weapons. Right, a couple of hands that I lost then. I lost a couple, let me just have a quick check. So there was one where I really tilted on against that same whale. I open ace-5 of clubs. We go 4-way to a flop. She bets a quarter pot. The flop comes deuce 4-10 with 2 spades. I have ace-4 of clubs. I check. She bets 2.5k into about 11k, so less than a quarter pot. I call. Turn comes the ace of spades, giving us top pair, but bringing in the flush. I check. She bets 2.5k again. I call. River comes the jack of spades, bringing 4 spades. I check. She checks back. Pocket 6s with a spade. Nice one. Was only a small pot, but it's still 21k pot. It's still pretty relevant at this point. And finally, I open queen 8 of clubs. We go 4-way again, and flop comes ace-5-3 with 2 clubs. I check. +3, who's been pretty tight, bets 4k. The cutoff, who flatted pre, he calls as well. I just call. The turn brings in a gutter, brings in a straight, comes a 4, so it's now ace-5-3-4, double flush draw. Action checks through, and then the river comes to 10 of spades. I check, checks through. I'm against ace queen of hearts from the tighter player. I'm against ace queen of hearts from the tighter player in the hijack, low jack, wherever it was, and the cutoff has ace jack, so ace queen wins it. And other than that, just been check folding. So yeah, going back now to 1200 big blinds, so still have 50 big blinds on a very soft table. So come on, let me just fucking run very good, because it's super soft, boys. Hopefully good updates next break. I have to say, I was really enjoying playing. The structure of this tournament, along with just the prestige of it, makes it just such a great tournament to be in. And with the blinds increasing and players starting to loosen up a little bit towards the last levels of the day, I was starting to play some bigger pots. So in this one, I open under the gun +1 to 2500 with pocket 5s. Low jack calls and the button calls, and the blinds get out of the way. Flop comes 7-4-3 rainbow. This is a spot where I'm going to do a lot of checking, especially multi-way, and I don't really want to bet here and get raised. So I do check. Low jack checks as well. The button bets 3.5k. I call, and the low jack folds. Turn pairs the board, comes to 7 of spades. I check once again. Button bets 6k, which is a nice small size. Pretty easy call for us here. The river comes the 6 of spades, which is very welcome here. I think about leading, but against this guy in particular, the button is a fun player. So I decide to check. I think he's going to bet a 7x anyway. He might even just bet over pairs, but more importantly, I want him to bluff all of his nonsense. He bets 7k into like 29k, and I think I just have to raise here. I don't think he has much for value, to be honest, with this sizing and just the way the hand's gone down. But on the off chance he has something like ace-7 or 7-8 suited, I want to make sure that I'm getting value. So I raise to 16k, and button does fold. Next hand, the same player limps in middle position. I check my option with ace-9 suited in the big blind. And the flop is a good one. It comes 2-3-4 with 2 clubs. So we flop the nut flush draw with 2 overs and a gutter. I decided to lead here. I could also check raise. I think he's fine, but I think he's just going to float everything. And I decided if I bet now, I can potentially blast some turns and get better ace highs and stuff to fold if I don't improve. So I lead for 1400 and villain calls. Turn comes the 9 of hearts, giving us top pair, top kicker to go along with our huge draw. So I decide to size up now. I bet 5k and middle position quickly calls. River comes the queen of hearts. Not the best river, but I don't think it improves him that much. He's going to have some like queen 10, queen jack of clubs and stuff. I decide that check-in is the best option here, and I'm basically never going to fold to any size. I do check, and villain bets 8k, which is about half pot. I snap him off and lose to queen 4 of diamonds. Yeah, really frustrating one to lose. I wasn't updating on breaks in the later levels, as the breaks were short as well. I needed to make sure I was ready for when I came back, so I'd use the restroom, fill up my water bottle, get a coffee or a snack and stuff like that. But after the next break, we come back to 1,000, 1,500 blinds, and I play my first 4-bet pot of the tournament. So Button, who is an older recreational, opens to 3.5k. The small blind, who is a young Asian kid who's been 3-betting him quite a lot, makes it 12k. And I look down at Ace King in the big blind. So I 4-bet here, I make it 27,000 to go. Button folds, and small blind thinks about it for a while before making the call. Flop comes down an absolutely stunning King 7 Deuce Rainbow. Don't think we could have asked for a better flop. Small blind checks to us, and I'm going to range bet this board, so I'm going to bet a very small size with everything. I bet 13k, and unfortunately the small blind folds. Next hand I play the whale from earlier limps under the gun. I decide to overlimp the cutoff with ace 3 of clubs. I think raising here would be fine, but I've seen this guy limp raise under the gun before, so I don't really want to, raise and then get 3-bet and have to fold, or just call and play a bloated pot. So I just call, and big blind checks their option, so we go 3-way to a flop. Flop comes down 5-5-3 with a couple of hearts. It checks to me in the cutoff, and I go for a bet of 2,000. Big blind calls, and under the gun calls as well. Turn comes Jack of Hearts, bringing in the flush. It checks to me, and obviously I check back here. River comes the best river for us, the 3 of diamonds. It checks to me once again. I go for a bet of 8.5k here into 13,000. Under the gun thinks for a minute before making the call. Big blind gets out of the way, and we show our hand and are good. And with that, we enter the last level of the day with over 150,000 chips, looking to bag up and make my first ever day 3 in the main event. Right, let's say the good news before I start the moaning. Bagged up for day 3 of the main event for the first time I've ever made day 3 of the main, so I'm pretty happy. 118k, 118,500 chips. We started the day obviously buying in with starting stack, which is 60k. But fuck me, what an unbelievably tilting last level, and unbelievably tilting last hand that I played as well. So our table broke, and our table was so fucking goated, man. And I was thinking, I had a game plan for the last level. I had a coffee, and my game plan was to be like, right, everyone's going to be well tight and just want to make day 3, so just fucking open everything. 3-bet the players that are going to open slightly wider and just fucking have at it. Table breaks, and then I get moved on to almost an equally soft table, to be honest. A very, very soft table, but just different in the way that they were just way splashier. They're just happy to call and stuff like that. And I proceeded to lose basically every pot in just really frustrating ways. Like, I'd have bottom of range. Like, I was opening way less wide because I was getting peeled in a couple of spots. So I was like, right, I won't open, ace jack under the gun and shit like that. Get ace queen off under the gun, go 4-way, check fold. King queen suited under the gun, go 4-way, check fold. And then the biggest hand I played, which just really pissed me off, there's 2 hands left, right? 2 hands left of the day. Blinds 1k, 2k, under the gun opens to 4k. I make it 11k on the button with ace king of diamonds, right? And he peels 11k. Bearing in mind, I've got about 130k at this point, and he has, or maybe a bit less, about 120k. And he has about 180k, so it's not like he's got absolute chunks and has like loads. He peels under the gun. Comes Jack 3 with 2 diamonds. I have ace king of diamonds. He checks, I decide to check back. Feel as though he'll try and just, I don't know, like maybe raise and just, because I'm not going to have many jack X, I'm going to be pretty tight, to be fair. So check. Turn comes another 3, which is shit, so it's Jack 3. He checks, which is great news. I think we're going to chop against some ace highs and he's going to have some worse stuff. I think people just are going to bet they're like 5s through to 10s here. He checks, I check back. River comes another jack, so it's Jack 3. And I'm just like, well, nice one. He then bets 12k into 27, I think it is. And decide he's not repping enough anyway, and we chop just all the time. I call, he's got king queen off, man. And it just well pissed me off. Why is he fucking calling it? Like, he was the least whaley person on the table, and then he's just like, yeah, fuck it, king queen off, let's call a 3-bet. How do you even not, like, it's so hard for me to lose that hand. So tilting. Anyway, that's a rant over. Made day 3 of the main, so pretty happy. 118k, we'll be coming back to 2.5k big blinds, so we'll have over 40 big blinds. Won't be in the money until probably maybe 2/3 of the way through day 3. I wouldn't know, I've never fucking cashed it, have I? Hopefully we can get a run. So we've got a day off tomorrow, which is nice. I'm going to go for a quick beer and just chill because I grinded hard today, man. I was really, really focused, really dialed in. Play quite passively on the table or just peeling a lot and stuff because I thought it was the best way to play. And yeah, very happy with how I played. Nothing else I could have done, I don't think, in basically any spot. Maybe I can see bet the ace king. You'd probably check raise anyway for the fucking sake of it. So yeah, GG's. Day off tomorrow. Back in 2 days. One fucking time, boys. And that brings us to the end of our third week here in Las Vegas, bagging up 47 big blinds for day 3 of the World Series of Poker main event. Thank you to everyone for the support on these vlogs. It's really not as easy as it looks to keep your focus whilst getting content and playing these events, but seeing all the support from you guys makes it all worth it. And make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys, so you don't miss day 3 of the 10K main event next week.